Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. It's your boy KNX here for another video, and today we're gonna start the first episode of our new series that it's Let's Talk About. So this series it's based on going into Blender and learn or talking about some techniques used in some modifiers or wherever we need to talk in this series. We're gonna talk about if Blender is a good program to learn, if Blender is better than Maya, if Blender, a lot of things we're gonna talk about here. We're gonna talk about the boolean modifier, and today we're gonna talk about the bevel surface technique. The bevel surface technique is a really good technique that you need to learn. If you didn't know about this technique, today you're gonna learn it, and let's get straight into it. So with no further ado, let's go to Blender. Right, guys, we are here to start our first episode of our series. So let's talk about bevel modifier. Okay, I'm gonna add here a bevel modifier, and you have a lot of ways to create bevel in your mesh. You can go into edit mode, you can select the edge that you want and click Ctrl B, and with the scroll in the mouse you can change how many edges you want this bevel. And basically what the bevel we're gonna do is basically adding more edges and rounding our mesh. So now I have this cube, and I will gonna add here a bevel modifier. So now I have a bevel modifier, and you can see that we have every single edge of our mesh beveled. But the problem is when you are working hard surface modeling, you want only some edges, and probably everything that you do in Blender, you want to have a lot of control in that thing that you are doing. So to have more control in the bevel of this mesh, we need to add here the bevel modifier. But the thing is, I don't want the every single edges of this mesh beveled. So I can go over here into limit method and change this to weight. Now I don't have any edge beveled, and I can go into edit mode and select the edges that I want bevel and change here in the mean bevel weight how many or the value that I want this bevel working in these edges, basically like that. So I'm gonna go over here and change to 1. You can see that now we have blue this blue line in the edges that we are working with. So now I have these edges, these three edges right here, beveled, and I can go into my bevel modifier and I can change the segments or basically the edges that I'm gonna add. I'm gonna add here more segments, alright, and now you can see that we have more smoothness in some parts because we are adding more edges in that edge that we had. So basically you can see that now we have more smoothness, and we can change the amount just like that. We can change everything we want. Let me change this to 0.01. All right. Let me change this a little bit. All right. Now we have a really cool smoothness right now, and we can go and add here or changing this for wherever we want. So basically we can add here a modifier that is the subdivision modifier. Now I have the subdivision working below the bevel. So basically I'm subdividing my cube, and then I'm applying my bevel. So basically now what you can do to have more subdivisions in your mesh, that it's super useful to have more smoothness in your mesh. Basically what we're gonna do, it's adding here some loop cuts, right? You're gonna go over here and add some loop cuts to the things that you want more sharp, right? You can do this way, but you have another way to do it, and it's more easy. It's using the min crease. Basically I can go over here and select this face and go over here into min crease, and using this value into 1 or into whatever value you want. All right, I'm gonna use the value of 1, and now I have this part over here sharp, right? But the problem is I'm gonna do this for everything that I want. If I want my cube with the subdivisions but with the same form, there is another way to create that effect. So basically I can go over here, let me change this to 0, and I can go into my subdivisions modifier and change this to simple. Now I have the subdivisions working in my cube. So basically I have my cube with level 1 with subdivisions, you can see that if I go to object mode, go over here into my object properties and change this to wireframe, you can see right now everything that is going on. We have here our bevel working on, and we have here the subdivisions working on too. So now I can have a lot of subdivisions in my cube, but still having my cube as a mesh and not a sphere, right? And this is super useful to have more smoothness in our mesh and to work a lot with other things. So now I can go and I can go over here in my modifiers and I can change whatever I want. I can change the levels of viewport to more like 3, and I have more subdivisions in my cube, but with the same form of a cube, right? You can do this without using bevel, but the really cool thing of the bevel modifier is that we can have a lot of control when we're gonna bevel these edges or when we are beveling edges in our workflow, right? So basically this is the technique that is used is basically or using Catmull Clark or simple and changing here the subdivision that you want in your cube. And I'm just deactivate the wireframe to see more easily what is going on. You can see over here, if I change this, look how this change. All right, and let me go over here and select this edges over here, this edge over here, and bevel it. All right, and I can go and change the segments to 5 or whatever segment I want, and change over here how this will gonna be applied in my cube. Now I have a roundish cube with a lot of subdivisions that is super useful. And now I can go and shade smooth. You already can see that is basically smooth, but I can go and shade smooth and go over here and activate the auto smooth. And this is basically how to use the bevel surface technique. All right, guys, you can go over here if is not working the auto smooth and you are not having a lot of smoothness. You can go over here, add a modifier that is called weighted normal, and have more smoothness. Now it's not working, all right, because I don't need it. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you liked this simple technique and this first episode of our series. And if you are a 3D fan and you like this content that I'm providing to you guys, go and subscribe and give a like, okay, guys, because I'm trying to reach the 100 subs in this month. So if you are a 3D fan and you like this content, go and support me in this channel and support the channel. Okay, so that's it. I hope you liked it and see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.